Welcome to Gen X Journeys, the podcast that's all about rediscovering, reinventing, and thriving. I'm your host, Paul Stressner, and if you're part of Generation X, this show's for you. We dive into real stories of resilience, reinvention, and personal growth, all while celebrating the past and charging full speed into the future. Whether it's nostalgia-fueled throwbacks, inspiring conversations, or motivation to help you level up, Gen X Journeys is here to remind you your best days are not behind you. They're happening right now, and you're just getting started. So let's get into it.
Hey everybody, this is PJ Farley.
And Steve Brown. And
From
Trixter. And you're listening to Return to the 80s. Crank it up, turn it up, and have fun.
Welcome to Return to the 80s.
Hello, America! Hello, America! Hello again! Hello to my little friend! Hello!
Hello.
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
They're here. Here's Johnny!
Hey everybody, Paul here. You're in for a real treat today. If you follow my Return to the 80s blog over the years, you know that Rubix Kube is my favorite band. I've written about 3 or 4 articles about the band and the shows that I've gone to. When you go to the shows, you're totally immersed into the 80s. It's so awesome. Just the memorabilia on the stage alone is impressive. When you walk in the room, there's all kinds of albums, all kinds of characters, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, all kinds of things on the stage. And there's also a screen behind the stage. And before and during the show, there's all kinds of 80s pop culture that's shown on the screen. And before the show, when you walk in, there's nothing but 80s music playing the whole time, blasting. It's so awesome. Then the band isn't gimmicky either. They're a group of very talented musicians. They all play their own instruments. There's no backing tracks or anything like that. No lip syncing or any of that. Well, last year my cousin Paul from New York asked me if I knew about this band, Rubix Kube. I was like, yeah, why? Well, Paul happens to be friends with the drummer, John Laspina. So when the band came in November, I met John. I got to hang out a little bit after the show. And when I found out that the band was coming back in April, I asked John if I'd be able to interview the band for the podcast. So he put me in touch with the band's road manager, Eric, and he set everything up. I wasn't going to be able to interview the whole band at once since the room was kind of small. So he asked me which members I'd like to interview. So I asked to interview the 2 lead singers, Cherie Nevi, and Scott Lovelady, and of course the drummer John. And also Steve Brown is the lead guitarist. If you don't know who Steve is, he's the lead guitarist and one of the founders of this band Trixter. They had a huge debut album in 1990, and they reunited somewhat recently. They're still putting out some great music, so you definitely need to check them out. Well, Steve also played with Def Leppard for a bit. He filled in for Vivian Campbell when Vivian was going through some cancer treatments. So, of course, I wanted Steve on the interview. So I gave Eric the names of the people that I wanted to interview. Then Eric came back and told me that for the show, PJ Farley, who was also the bassist for Trixter, was going to be there. So I decided to split this episode up into 2 interviews. First up is Cherie, Scott, and John. And then I got to talk with Steve and PJ. And man, what a blast this whole experience was. And in the first interview, you may hear David Z get mentioned a bit. Well, he was the bassist for Rubix Kube. And sadly, he was killed on July 14th last year, 2017. While he was touring with the band, he had recently joined Adrenaline Mob. Their RV was pulled off the side of the road to change a tire. And then a tractor trailer swerved off the road and hit the RV. So, and sadly, David died in that accident. And in addition to Adrenaline Mob, David had played with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He was really cool guy, great musician. And as you'll hear, the band loved him very much. So honestly, they're one big, totally awesome family. So here we go with the totally rad Cherie, Scott, and John. This is going to be a blast. Enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome to Return of the 80s. We have a very special episode today as I'm at the Rubix Kube concert in Patriot Place in Foxborough, Massachusetts. I'm here with a few members of the band. Maybe you guys can introduce yourselves.
Yeah! Hi everybody, this is Cherie Martirana Nevi from Rubix Kube, only woman in the band. I know some of the other guys are questionable, but I can assure you they are all in fact dudes. And guess who else is here with me?
Scott Lovelady, who is not questioning anything and is perfectly okay with anybody not questioning anything, too. I think these days, we just really shouldn't even ask.
John Laspina, drums, Rubik's Cube, and I'm a dude.
The engine of the Rubik's Cube DeLorean, yes.
All right, so how did you guys get the band started? How did that get put together?
Well, that was like 11 years ago. I was the co-host of the world-famous Arlene's Grocery down in the Lower East Side. Arlene's world-famous live rock and roll karaoke band. Say that 3 times fast. I was co-hosting with them, and Scott was a regular singer, and some other friends of ours, various musicians, including David Z. He was a regular there on Monday nights. His band ZO2 used to play after the karaoke band. We all became friends at Arlene's. It's a place that's very special. We hold a very special place in our heart. And we're all, except for David the baby, we were all teenagers, or some of us infants in the 80s. And we just were sick and tired of other cover bands murdering the music of our favorite decade. And we were like, you know what? This is music we love, and we can do it, and we can do it right.
Yeah.
So we did.
Yeah. I can vouch for that. Like, this band is incredible. Instead of just doing plain covers, it's like going to a regular concert you would see at a stadium. They put on a great show.
Thank you. Yeah, Johnny came up with the name, Mr. John Laspina. He had like a vision, right, John?
And the misspelling, yes.
Yeah.
Too.
But he's like, wait, there's 6 sides of the cube. Isn't that what you thought? There's 6 of us. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm telling your story.
Yeah.
No. You got it.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
then bam. And then I had a career in the toy industry for 17 years. So I was actually had some connections with the actual people who make the toy, the cube, the Rubik's Cube.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so we're the only band in the universe that is officially licensed to have the name, to show the image in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, so it all kind of came full circle.
Right, yeah, I know they're really picky about that. Using
They're
their image.
super strict about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But they gave us permission, those crazy English people over there, yeah.
That's why I changed the name. Some strange, bizarre coincidence. This thing blew up, which it did. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
can't go after this.
It organically
Worked out
blew
anyway,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, organically. We got our big break at the Stephen Talkhouse, and after that, out in the Hamptons, all those fans who hung out at the Stephen Talkhouse in Amagansett in the summer, they, go back to Manhattan in the fall and winter, and they wanted to see us there, and yeah, we just got more and more fans, and it got bigger and bigger, and then we went on the Today Show and Cake Boss, and yeah, Rubik's Cube people, they actually wanted us to spell the name the way they do. They said, if we're going to give you this license, have the real spelling. And I said, we can't, because if someone searches for that,
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, the Rubik's Cube toy is the best-selling toy in the history of toys, including more than Barbie, including Matchbox cars, and Hot Wheels, whatever. And if they search for that, they're never going to find us.
Right.
So they said, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep,
So they gave us
our-
the blessing to change the spelling for,
Yep.
for our version. So that's the legal background of what's going on there.
Let's get that out of the way.
It was a fun story, I think. It's kind of...
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. It was a brilliant idea. How do you guys choose a set list? I know there's probably different tiers. If you don't play, Don't Stop Believing, or
We never not play Don't Stop Believing.
There's some of
That's
them.
true. There's definitely a core beginning and end of the set. That's generally, you discover that there are only so many songs that are really fantastic openers that are just going to knock you on your ass right out of the gate. And But then you can we tailor it depending on what the crowd is like, what the audience is like. Some people, some crowds are definitely more rock oriented. Some of them are more dance oriented. Some of them are just more groovy. And it depends. And it's funny because it's not necessarily age related so much as just more locationary.
Yeah, that happens too. Yeah, that happens a lot. Like we have a huge fan base in Pennsylvania, and they definitely lean toward the rock stuff. So whenever we go to Pennsylvania, anywhere, we lay the set a lot with the rock, and they love that. And it also depends a lot. And I want you people to listen up there on the email requests you send on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. 1 or 2 weeks before, if you email us with requests, we do read them all, and we take that into consideration. Because we're all about pleasuring you guys, so we want to know what you like, and we want to make it happen.
Yep, that's awesome. Oh, one of my favorite things about coming here is all the way the stage is set up with all the props and everything. I'm just astonished with that. Is that your guys' stuff that you bought, or
90% of it is vintage? Exactly.
There is a lot of vintage.
They're all eBay finds. It started out with everybody's personal collection of stuff. Simply hey, I have this thing that's been sitting in the back of a closet for the longest time that I never threw away. Let me put that on stage.
That's true. And then he's being very modest. We have to give props to Scotty for the props, because he has built quite a few of our props and other things we use in the stage, including the to scale replica of the Bill and Ted's telephone time travel telephone booth. And Scott built that, and he has the joys of overseeing the setup of it at almost every show.
I like that, overseeing.
There's some phrase about be careful what you own, or be careful what you're good at, because then it becomes your job.
Yeah, right. It's exactly. Don't let people know what you're good at. Sometimes it'll get you in a little bit of a predicament.
But all that stuff kind of happened organically, in a sense of just like everything else that we do. The costume situation, Cherie gets pretty much all the credit for, because she was the one to push for, hey, we can do these as characters. We can do these songs as, why not just get the costumes of the video? We can make it more recognizable. Let's really push for that. Let's try and make it more fun that way. And then the things like the set pieces came from that reason too.
Yeah, and then the set collection of props went over the edge. I will give David Z credit for that, because being the big kid that he was always online looking at crazy weird things we could buy. Like, you guys, there's an 11-foot Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We could get that. Or I know a guy who's got a movie quality gremlin. Or, we can get stand-ups of Ronald Reagan and Madonna. And he was so into that. And of course, we agreed. And so, but he was the one actively buying and shipping boxes of things to us, and we have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, let's make it clear, he did that for years before he started.
Exactly. He did. Yeah, it was his way to justify his crazy addiction in real life.
I felt like I didn't know whether to feel good or bad about feeding that addiction.
I loved it because Dave and I were very similar that way, and we have an authentic Chucky doll on stage.
Yeah.
And we were both squealing like little children the day that came in, and the rest of the band thought we needed our head examined. We have a hoverboard from Back to the Future. A lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, all the album covers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that phone booth must be really sturdy, because you guys go in and out of that, and all these years it's still standing.
It is.
Surprisingly. Well, that's the thing. The more beat up and crappy it looks, the more screen accurate it becomes.
You're right.
It looks more and more like the actual movie product.
That's true.
Yep. And then, Scott, was it your father that was involved with the Muppets?
Yeah, Dad was one of the original Muppeteers, as it were. Who, I guess he answered an ad in Backstage looking for actors with puppeteering experience. Because that's what Henson was looking for. He was looking for more of performers who he could teach puppeteering to, than puppeteers who would come, with their own particular back. Because his style was so unique and specific that he found it would just be better. I mean, that's really where the whole Muppet sensibility came from. It's like, find decent performers who have a knack for puppeteering and then teach them the Muppet way. Yeah, that's what I grew up with, so I was kind of doomed Doomed to a life of children's theater.
You mean blessed? Blessed. He means blessed. He totally.
Yeah, I think was it a Gloria Estefan song that you did that you brought out the one with all the dancers and stuff. That was so cool.
Oh yeah,
that was totally my fault because I don't know why I got that idea, but I just did. And then I told Scott about it, and I said, "You can make that. Come on, you know you can do that."
Puppets, where there's like two guys on either side of you. They're doing exactly the same thing, the same dance moves. I saw that on TV. You could build that. And I went, okay.
Yeah, it was, and then it was half his, interest in engineering that got him to do it, and also half the stubbornness of not turning down a challenge.
Right.
You know what I mean? But look what happened. It came out awesome.
Yeah.
I love when we use that. It shows up every now and then just because it's hard to travel with. So it's either that or we got to leave Steve Brown when we don't have a guitar player. So we kind of choose Steve Brown over the. Although sometimes we choose the puppets.
Oh, you had mentioned the Cake Boss before. That was actually the first article I ever wrote about you guys before I even saw you in concert.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting. Somebody had commented on my post and asked what song that was that you played at the end of it. I don't suppose you.
Oh, it was the song I wrote.
One.
I wrote. No, it's funny because I wrote that during the day of the shoot because
that's right.
their legal team didn't have permission. They tried to clear some songs, and it was down to the wire. And we gave them a list of songs their legal team was trying to clear, and they didn't get clearance by the day of shooting. And so I wrote a song in I think literally 90 seconds. And
I watched her write it.
Yeah, and that's how that song was created. And that song, we've only performed that song on Cake Boss.
Yeah, it's our Cake
Boss exclusive. Yeah, so and we
can't perform it anywhere.
We love Buddy. We gotta have a reunion, Buddy. We gotta have a reunion and play that song for you again. Yeah, but no, that was a blast. That was really fun. Especially to get our cake versions of ourselves made out of fondant. It was really. Scott and I still have our.
Roastly,
do you have yours, John?
I still have.
Do you have your guys?
Oh, really?
I have the guys somewhere.
I have mine still for sure.
It's like colored
in my
Tootsie
office.
Roll based material, which just basically turns to stone eventually.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say to people, don't eat fondant because that was what?
You think
8 years ago, and it's still intact. Yeah.
That's nothing on Twinkies. It's just exactly. It's got them beat.
Don't eat fondant. Sorry, bakery people.
So you guys mostly go around the East Coast, or
the regular routine is up and down the East Coast between DC and Boston. That's the norm when it comes to public venues. Okay. But we do travel all around the world. We've gone. We do private parties, corporate parties, weddings, all that stuff. Different festivals, and those type of things have brought us to California, Arizona, Florida, Bahamas, Bermuda, Germany,
Kosovo.
We went. We played for the troops a few times,
awesome.
And we love doing that. We love giving back to our men and women who are protecting us all over the world. And we've gone, to Kosovo, 3 different parts of Germany, and those have been really awesome experiences.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I was in the Navy and I served in the Gulf War, and we had people come on our ship and perform. It's like something you never forget. So, like with the Pointer Sisters game and stuff.
And some of them have kept in touch with us and have come home on leave and checked us out in a random city. Come up to us and said, "Remember me? I met you in Kosovo." We say, "Oh my God, I'm back. I just had a baby," and it's really cool. It's nice to see them again.
Oh, that's so awesome. All right, I don't want to take too much more of your time now because.
Are you staying for the show tonight?
Yep.
Is there a song that you are hoping or expecting to see? A favorite or hear?
Like any of these, maybe?
Yeah, don't look at the set. Don't cheat. Hide it.
We want to know if we're going to disappoint you.
Oh no! Anything you play. Well, today on the 21st, it's actually second anniversary of when Prince died. So I'm sure there's going to be some Prince in here.
Yes, you are correct. Yes, can't believe it's been 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
Actually,
it goes by so fast.
It has been fun. It's flown by. But do you normally like the rock yourself or the dance?
Oh
Or
yeah,
do you like
rock.
everything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was always always a rocker.
Yeah.
Growing up
Okay,
and
well, good.
everything.
You're going to be very happy tonight.
Like tonight.
We got some great stuff tonight. And it's funny,
Awesome.
like sometimes we say new stuff and we always laugh after because these songs are, 30 years old, some of them, and so it's like we say new, but that's just what we call
New
it.
to you
An
performance.
80s song that hasn't made it in our show yet. So
Right.
you might be seeing some new, air quotes, songs in the set.
Well, it's on my blog, sometimes I do a top 40 countdown, what the top 40 was that week, and I'll come across songs that I don't even remember. It's like, oh, this is a new one.
Yeah, right? A new one.
Yep. All right. Thanks a lot, John, for helping us get this together.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
for coming to see
Oh,
us.
you put this together, John. Nice.
His
Yeah.
cousin was my old neighbor
Oh.
when I lived at home. He used to call me the bad drummer because he'd hear me
Nice.
playing the drums.
Oh,
What-
speaking of which, did you ever get Animal back? I noticed that he wasn't here the last time.
Was Animal retired?
No,
Did he
he's
get
not
hurt
retired.
or
You mean the animal
damaged
doll we
or-
keep on the drums?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Animal.
Whoa.
There's a great story behind that. My brother won that for me at Canopy Lake, Canopy Lake Amusement Park in Wyndham, New Hampshire. New England people know what that is. We grew up there, and we went there probably, oh my God, like 11 years ago, right around when Rubik's Kube started. We went for like my birthday or something, and he won that for me, and I kept it, and then I started bringing it to the shows, especially when I found out, Scott is Muppet family royalty, and I've always been a huge Muppet fan. I have all the shows on DVD. Anyway, branching off. So so I started bringing it to shows, and he hung out with us for a real long time. And in travel, he was getting a little beat up, and what I like to call his love was spilling out of him. So I sewed him up quite a few
That just
times.
makes it worse.
I stuffed the love back in, sewed him up. But the last injury was so severe, we thought we're only going to break him out during certain shows. So we're handling him with care. But he's not retired.
Oh, you would call him retired?
No.
He comes out of
Limited
retirement.
duty.
He shows up every now and then. But, so do different characters. Like tonight we have Chucky,
Yeah.
Spike from Gremlins,
Oh, yeah.
E.T. But, next time you might see, someone totally different.
Depends who you can
some
fit.
other
I don't
creative.
know.
Yeah, depends on, who we feel like putting in the band.
Yep.
Who makes?
Oh, we have 2 vans now, which is hilarious. So now we have 2 vans. We should just probably get, a big bus at this point, so the creatures can all have a seat.
Yeah, there you go.
There's more of them than there are us. Yeah.
Now, do you guys have other jobs too, or is this like your full time?
This is a full-time job for me, for Scott, Steve Brown, PJ Farley, we're Michael Hunter, Michael Geegan. We're all full-time professional musicians. Johnny and Mike have day jobs, as we say, right, Johnny?
Yes. Software.
Yep, I hear you.
Sunlight, I think you call it.
They don't
Sunlight.
moonlight, they sunlight. Yes. So we let them do that. But they're cool. Like Pax works for Goldman Sachs, so he's like making Goldman Sachs people. He's giving them some rock cred. They're giving bankers and software guys a good reputation. So
Okay. Well, thank you so much for doing this for me.
thank
so
you.
awesome.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming out, rocking, spreading the word of Rubik's Kube and the 80s Strikes Back show.
Looking forward to tonight.
Yes. Check us out, everyone. Rubik'sCube.com, Facebook, Rubik's Kube Band, Twitter, Rubik's Kube Band. As Scott always says, just misspell it and you'll find us.
Throw an X in there somewhere.
There's an X
Thank
and there's
you.
a K and there's the X.
Long live the 80s.
Weren't they awesome? Thank you so much, Cherie, Scott, and John. All right, and now we'll continue the interview with Steve Brown and PJ Farley from Trixter and Rubik's Kube.
Appreciate you guys coming on. Okay, we're continuing the interview, and this is exciting because we have Steve Brown and PJ Farley from Trixter. And
We are here.
It's also part of Rubik's Kube tonight. So.
Fantastic, yes. Live in front of your naked, steaming eyes.
You can't see that.
But I can. So. All right. So I guess first let's start off with some Trixter questions. You guys had like an awesome debut album, and then all of a sudden, not long after that was when the dreaded grunge period came. Like, how was that for you guys? Like, did you do other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, the Trixter success was, thank God we got on that wave. You know what I mean? We rode that wave for a little bit of time, and we had, sold 1 million records, played every dream we ever had came true 100 times over. So great, but it was short-lived, and but we're still here and
we went on to other things. We maintained creative and productive, and fighting the good fight with homemade capes.
Yeah,
and kept busy.
Yeah,
as we are now.
Like, I loved your guys' music when you came out. That was like my favorite kind of music between you guys, Mr. Big, Damn Yankees had just come out around that time. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
We were part of a phenomenal wave,
Right.
It wasn't the disco era, but it was pretty close. But we had a great time and a great run. And then after Trixter, PJ and I, we had a couple great bands that we formed. Throwing Rocks, Soaked, 40-Foot Ringo, Stereo Fallout, and here we are now in Rubik's Kube.
And then you guys ended up reuniting not that long ago too. So what brought that about? Did you guys keep in touch through that?
Yeah. It was
time?
just, what it was? It was just it was time. 2008. I think we just said it's time to get the band back together. And now we're on another break.
I was gonna say the past couple albums I absolutely loved. It seems like I was comparing you to like between like Bon Jovi and Def Leppard, how every single song is awesome, and then each album just seems to keep getting better and better.
It's funny. It's a strong and a good comparison.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man. Yeah.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famers.
I think we got kind of stiffed on the success chart,
but yeah, I mean, the last two records that Trixter made, New Audio Machine and Human Era, I think are two best records we've ever made.
That's what I mean.
So gratifying 20 years later to make those records and do it under our control. And not have a record label and various people tell you what to do, but we had total control, and we made, what I think is the two quintessential Trixter records. Along with the first and second. I mean, they're great too, but, there's not many bands, what I always say, 20 years later, after you have your hits, that can come back and make records that are as good, if not better.
Exactly.
With the same four guys.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, all original.
Yep. That's what I mean.
We're blessed.
Sure. Definitely. Yeah, just as good as ever. And that's one thing I'm trying to push, that a lot of people, my generation, are saying, "Oh, there's no good music anymore." But I'd say, it's out there. Our groups are still out there playing. So, a lot of them disappeared for a little while, but now they all seem to be coming back and touring
in one way, shape, or form.
Right. Yep. And then I know you guys were touring. It was Eric from Mr. Big.
We play. PJ and I play with Eric Martin.
Yeah.
We have a great band, Eric Martin and the Trixters, which is a blast. I mean, Eric's been a dear friend for 25 years. We met Eric on the Blood, Sweat, and Beers tour, 1991. And he's been a brother ever since. And he just called us up and said, "Hey, man, I want to play with you guys." And so we went to Japan last year, and playing shows around America, and hopefully more to come.
Yep. Oh, that's great. So, do you have anything planned, like doing any new albums, or is that you got anything planned for that?
Yeah, we're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Right, PJ? We're talking about
tossing
it.
around some ideas. I mean, we're having fun with this new band that we have together, and it's the shows are going great, and who knows? I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Just got to get our asses to do it.
Right, yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, we're all...
I mean, you keep it busy. We do your hair tonight.
Yeah, exactly. We got families. We got kids. So that's part of our lives. So yeah, if it works out, we're certainly up to the challenge.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a great, Eric Martin and PJ Farley and Steve Brown would be an incredible combination, songwriting
Definitely.
Making a great rock record.
Yep. That would be really great. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course I could ask you about your gig with Def Leppard.
Yeah.
How did you end up landing that? Did they contact you, or did you have to audition or something?
No, I didn't. No. Phil Collin, those guys, the Def Leppard guys, have been friends of ours for 30 years. Back in the Trixter days, their old manager Peter Mensch was instrumental in helping Trixter get signed and become successful. And so with that, I spent my senior prom. I didn't go to the prom. I hung out with Def Leppard in Passaic, New Jersey at the Capitol Theater. And my car got towed.
Yep, I was there.
He was there. That was great. I had Steve Clark. We hung out with Steve Clark. That was great.
It was bleeding and everything.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. But those guys have been friends for a long time. And Phil is, he's one of my best friends. And, for 30 years. And he's always been... kind of like my father says, he's like my godfather. He's always looking after me, like saying, yeah, Steve, you're going to do this someday. You're going to do something. And sure enough, when Vivian, sadly got sick with cancer, I was the guy that was picked. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't because of my guitar playing, which is, most people, I think maybe by now people know, but most people don't know. It was because of the vocals. As Joe Elliott told me the day of our first show together, he said, I don't care what you do on guitar, just sing all the vocal parts, do all those Muppet parts. I don't care what you play. But and that was it. Yeah. So you to be in Def Leppard, you gotta step inside, walk this way, you and me, babe. Hey, that's what it's all about. So singing those parts.
Yeah, that's one of their signatures.
And Def Leppard, they don't track anything. There's no tracks. There's no guy on the side of the stage hitting the sampler. It's all real. So, but yeah, what an amazing time.
Yeah, and I noticed that
spectacular.
And some of those Trixter albums, the harmonies are really awesome with that too. So.
I wonder who does that. I wonder who does that. Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll be hearing some tonight too.
Yeah. Well, you got one half of Trixter here, so you're gonna hear it. But yeah, the Def Leppard thing was just dream come true, and it's one of those things where you get drafted to the big leagues, so to speak. You know what I mean?
So
Learjets, limousines, Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, to step up from Hampton Inn, and I love Hampton Inns and Holiday Inn Express, but
it gets to a point to where you start throwing out Hampton Inns like there's Motel 6.
Right. Totally.
What is this, a fucking Hampton Inn?
And the great thing about the Def Leppard thing, like I tell all my dear friends and everybody out there, I didn't do it just for me. I do it for all of us. Here's a kid who, when I was 12 years old, 10 years old, I had the first On Through the Night cassette.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here I am 25, 30 years later playing Def Leppard. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you gotta
in an arena,
pinch me. Yeah, exactly.
Stadiums, yeah.
It was one of those things like holding up the record. Oh my God, I'm not just listening to Photograph. The first show was like that. Like, I was cool through the whole thing, doing my thing. I'm a pro. I got it down, but that when we did Photograph, I told PJ this. I looked over. I'm like, I'm fucking playing Photograph with Def Leppard. I'm fucking in Def Leppard. Yeah, it was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah,
much like he's going to say tonight when he's playing Photograph.
Fantastic.
See, they're playing Photographs, so you guys are missing, so you gotta make sure you come out and see Rubik's Kube.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And I play it right because Def Leppard, they don't play it right. They don't play the intro. I told Phil that they don't play the intro right. It's 3 da 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 da. And Phil goes, oh fuck right. Yeah. Well, I don't know what we fucking do.
He hasn't listened to that song probably 20 years already.
Well, Phil only played the solo on that.
Yeah.
That's Steve Clark.
Right, yeah.
But, I pointed that out to those guys. Your biggest hit, you don't play it right. But that's why they love me. That endearing quality.
Now, did they play it right?
No.
Oh, man, what a treat that was. Thank you so much to Steve and PJ for that. Then Steve asked if I'd like them to do a radio promo for the podcast, and I didn't even think of that. So that was so awesome. So you got to hear that at the top of the show. And then it was time for the band to dress and get ready for the show. and what an incredible night. I can tell you some of the songs that they played. They just busted out of the gate with Raise Your Hands with Bon Jovi, Any Way You Want It, then Take Me Home Tonight. And they also did some, there was some Madonna, Holiday, Get Into the Groove, Smooth Criminal, and they also did Footloose. I think that was the first time I saw them do that. They did the 99 red balloons, and they actually throw the red balloons out there so everybody bats them around for a while. It's a lot of fun. And of course they did do Prince as advertised. They did Let's Go Crazy. There was also Africa in there by request. That was so cool. They even did a little rap with Rap and Rock with Walk This Way. And there was also Ozzy made an appearance, A Crazy Train. And of course they played Photograph the right way, and Here I Go Again. They did Living on a Prayer, and then of course they always close out with Video Killed the Radio Star, and then Don't Stop Believing when everybody hops on the stage. So it was a really fun night. So what a great experience. I can't believe I got to interview them. So cool. And I want to thank Cherie, Scott, John, Steve, and PJ for their time. Thank you for Eric for putting this all together. I know it was crazy getting ready before the show and then taking time out to, talk to me. So that was really cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. And follow the band. And definitely check them out if they come to your area. You can go to the website. It's RubixKube.com. That's RubixKube. And you can also find them on Facebook. You can look them up. And you can follow them on Twitter and Instagram at Rubix Kube Band. And as usual, you can contact us at returntof80s@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Return of the 80s. And the website's easier to get to now, too. It's rtt80s.com. Less letters to type. So you can check us out there. And the show notes for this episode will be there. And you can subscribe and rate us and review us on iTunes and anywhere that you get your podcast from. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you really enjoyed it.
And remember,
be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes!
Sit, Lizzie, sit. Good dog.